on China's housing market, let's turn to Robert Ciemniak. He's the CEO and Chief Analyst at Real Estate Foresight. He joins us now from Hong Kong. Robert, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Elaine.
Well, we're starting off 2024. After Spring Festival, what is your outlook for China's housing market?
In our forecast, we expect the policy to focus on the support rather than stimulus. So we would expect things to improve gradually, but still end up the year slightly negative, minus 3.5% for new home sales, minus 10% for new starts, but with a major shift to the secondary market. So even though the new home sales are coming down, a lot of the demand is diverting to the secondary housing.
Other than some government initiatives, you realize this could be a multifaceted approach that is needed. What really is needed for the sector to rebound completely?
Well, first, I'm not sure if the purpose is really to rebound. If you look at where we were with the new home sales in 2020-21 at around 1.6 billion square meters per annum in sales, I think people agree that it was excessive. Just nobody expected that the correction to around 1 billion would happen within just 2 years. But in terms of stabilization of the market, I think the approach is now very targeted. So you mentioned earlier the whitelist is probably the whitelist that are being played out now is the single most important development. And over 3,000 projects were approved on the whitelist. The question is how many of them will get the actual funding. And that's something we would really watch for. But it's really about those very specific measures and implementation of these, we think, going forward.
And how long do we think that could take? Are we talking months, by next year, before we see some sort of impact from that whitelist?
Well, I think the impact will be almost immediate, because a lot of that is about confidence. And confidence is a function of a consumer and a home buyer. And for them, the biggest concern, I believe, aside from the overall economic situation and the macro context and employment, is being around confidence that when you buy from a developer, they will deliver. So bringing specific projects to ensure that what was sold and started construction but not completed, that's probably the very, very right approach. And if that really materializes, I think it would boost that basic confidence level.
The saying is that location plays such a big part in real estate. Any bright spots, areas, or regions recovering the fastest?
So we actually did some analysis, like when we compared the last 2 years, so the period of distress versus the prior 3 years. And the big winner, so to say, would be Hangzhou in terms of sales volumes. They actually still managed to increase. And in terms of house prices, that's Xi'an. Over that period of time. But on the combined metrics, a single city I would pick up is Chengdu, who had great performance on relative performance on price movements and on sales volumes over that time. So we would continue to look at those kind of strong tier 2 cities.
And based on what you're seeing and hearing from people in the region, do you think there's a better sense of optimism when it comes to the real estate market? We know a lot of this is mental, and how they make their decisions. Are they staying put? Are they moving? Tied to jobs, of course. What is your thought on that?
I think there is still a bit of a wait and see approach, and to see how some of these policy moves play out. The numbers speak for themselves. That if you look at all the major metrics, I would summarize it as things turning less negative, and there's a number of improvements on a couple of metrics, but a lot of the stress is not yet resolved, so there is still work in progress.
All right, Robert Ciemniak, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us from Hong Kong.
Thank you.